So a little bit more about neutral density filters. I'm at a location today where there's direct sunlight. It's mid-afternoon in October. I have a lot more light than whenever I photographed the waterfall. It was earlier in the video. And I brought with me two different neutral density filters of two different strengths, an ND4 and an ND8. The ND4 will get me 2 stops slower shutter speed. The ND8 will get me 3 stops. I've tried both of those on the camera, and that's not going to get me to where I want to be as far as shutter speed goes. I have the camera set to ISO 200, which is its lowest ISO for the best image quality. I have the aperture set to f11, which is a pretty small aperture, big depth of field. I don't want to go any smaller, which if I went smaller it would make the shutter speed go slower, but if I went smaller I'll probably lose some image quality, so I'm going to leave it set at f11. And I brought along also today a variable neutral density filter, which means it goes in a range from some minimum to some maximum. And it's a good thing I brought it because it will let me get the scene a lot darker than the other two neutral density filters that I brought today. So right now we're at 1/25th of a second, or 1/20th of a second. It's kind of varying, the light's changing. That's not slow enough. I'm going to put this variable neutral density filter on the camera, set it to its minimum setting, see what it's at, and then move it until I get it to about 1 second or 2 seconds. Now that I have the variable neutral density filter on the camera at its minimum setting, I'm getting a shutter speed of about 1/6 of a second. So I'm going to turn it so it gets darker. And I'm going to stop about there because when I did the waterfall, I had that showing as a shutter speed 1.6, and I thought that was 1.6 seconds. It was not. I tell people in my class about this, and I completely forgot about it the day I was photographing the waterfall. So 1.6 is not 1.6 seconds. You'll only get seconds or parts of a second when you see the 2 marks to the right of the shutter speed. So right there, when you see 2 with the 2 marks to the right of it, that's 2 seconds instead of a half of a second. So it tripped me up the other day. I wasn't thinking about it. So 2 seconds, that's good. It's nice and slow. So I'm going to set the camera to a self timer so I'm not touching it when I release the shutter. Go ahead and focus. And then let's look at the photo and see if it's blurred. Zoom in. Yeah, it looks quite nice. So now I'm going to try and set the neutral density filter to a stronger setting. In fact, I'm going to go all the way maximum. So you see that crosshatch? I'm going to try and block the sun on the LCD. That crosshatch is what you don't want. When you've got a variable neutral density filter set it to its maximum, you're probably going to see that. So when you're looking at these to buy and you think, oh great, it goes from like 1.5 to 9 strength, you're probably not going to be able to use it at the maximum because of this effect. So you're going to have to back it off a little bit. And I'm going to try it at 5. I still see a bit of vignetting on the corners, but I'm going to try it, look at it later, see if it's okay. Take another photo. So this is at 5 seconds. And then look at the photo. Again, it's nice and blurred. And when I look at it later in Photoshop, if that vignetting is something I don't want, maybe I can fix it in Photoshop. Maybe it's something I like, and then I'll vignette the other 2 corners a little bit to kind of match up with it. But that's how you use a neutral density filter, a little bit more information about how to use it. So it's a really good thing to have a few of those in your camera bag if you're out shooting scenes and it's a sunny day and you want to make action blurred. You want to blur trees, you want to blur water, you want to blur something. And you probably need a few different strengths to handle the different lighting. The lighting today, again, it's mid-afternoon, it's in October, so it could be a lot brighter if the sun was higher in the sky and it was more in summer. So the fact that I had this today really helped. And that's about it. So they're really handy to use.